Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Buffalo Sabres signing Taylor Hall to a 1-year, $8 million contract. We'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. And let's take a look at the Buffalo Sabres signing Taylor Hall. Alright, so real quick, just want to give a quick plug to our other YouTube channel at Goal Line Sports, where we talk about all things college football. Make sure to check that out if you're interested. Links will be in the description down below, as well as throughout the video. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's take a look at the Buffalo Sabres, who have had a pretty interesting offseason, and I would say an underrated offseason, and we'll be looking at that in this video. So we're going to start things off looking at the Buffalo Sabres bringing in left winger Taylor Hall on a 1-year, $8 million contract. He had 52 points in 65 games with the New Jersey Devils and the Arizona Coyotes last season. He has over 500 points in his NHL career. He's a former 2010 first overall pick, a 2018 Hart Trophy winner, as well as a one-time NHL All-Star. Taylor Hall is a pretty polarizing name in the world of hockey. Some consider him that bad B word, a bust. I don't think he's a bust. I wouldn't go that far. I think a lot of people are quick to give that tag, especially to a first overall pick. But considering everything he's been through, I think that's part of the reason people are interested why he went to the Buffalo Sabres, because you look at the Buffalo Sabres and every other organization he's been in, the Edmonton Oilers, the New Jersey Devils, the Arizona Coyotes, and now the Buffalo Sabres. It's like every team he goes to, it's one of those teams that it's like you picked them. And I think, and don't take this the wrong way, those fan bases, because I don't think I'm being a little bit facetious when I say that, but I'm just saying that, like Taylor Hall, you could argue a lot of players would not want to go to any of those places, because Edmonton, do I have to explain the oil change again? The New Jersey Devils, ever since Lou Lamoriello left, they seem a little bit swamped, to be joking, but they seem like they're in a weird spot. The Arizona Coyotes, we don't even know if they're going to be there in 5 years. It seems like they get a new owner every couple of seasons, a new general manager, and then you go to Buffalo, which it's been pretty well documented, the absolute crazy shenanigans that have been going in Buffalo over the past, really the last decade or two, since the Pagulos have been the owners of those teams. So, the Buffalo Sabres, they're going out on a limb here. I think this is a good signing for both sides. It's a 1-year deal. So worst case for the Sabres, if he doesn't work out, well, he goes back to free agency next year. And for Taylor Hall, he's not stuck on a contract where he ends up hating Buffalo and he doesn't like Jack Eichel. He's playing in the bottom six, and he could just move out next season, and it's no big deal. But the big thing that we have to remember here, now if you look at context, I like to bring back connections. I did this a couple weeks ago, and some of you like that with Detroit, where Vladimir Mesnikov went back to Stevie Yzerman because they have that connection, as well as, I believe, Ruslan Kozlov, which is his uncle or something like that, who is a scout with the Red Wings. Obviously, there's the connection there. But now Ralph Kruger, a name you may remember, right? Because when he was the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, that's when they drafted Taylor Hall, right? So he has that connection. He's been his head coach in the past. He probably went out and reached to Taylor Hall. Listen, you're going to be playing with Jack Eichel, who is a superstar player. Victor Olofsson, who you could argue could have been a Rookie of the Year candidate last year had he not gotten injured. Come to Buffalo. We'll give you the money. We'll give you a short-term deal. This is for yourself. Prove to yourself that you're worthy of that big contract, and then you could hit pay dirt next year, right? So this is a combination of two things. So for Jack Eichel, this is a win for Eichel because now he gets a former first overall pick, a superstar in some people's eyes. And for Taylor Hall, well, I'm going to be playing with that guy, Jack Eichel, who is very solid, probably a top 10 center in the NHL. So it works both ways where it's a good, if it has good chemistry between those guys. I don't see how the Buffalo Sabres can't really improve this offseason. Now, looking at the forward lines for the Buffalo Sabres, we're just going to look at some of the changes they made this offseason and some underrated moves that I think are going to make big dividends for the Sabres next year. Looking at that bottom six, Zemgus Girgensons, Curtis Lazar, and Kyle Oposo. Kyle Oposo, that's a dead contract. That's $6 million or whatever. I'm sure they wish they didn't have to pay. But you know what? He's still in the organization. He's a great player. Curtis Lazar, just another depth piece that they added. I'm not a huge fan of Lazar in the NHL at this point. Zemgus Girgensons, they signed him to a contract extension a couple of weeks back. All right, good depth move. And now we start to get where things get interesting for the Buffalo Sabres. They brought in Toby Reeder on a one-year contract. We'll see how that goes. Just another depth piece. He can score some goals. He's got a little bit of skill. He's been playing in Tucson with the Roadrunners and between the Arizona Coyotes. He's been in Edmonton, I believe, and Calgary. So he's been around the circle recently. So hopefully he finds a fit in Buffalo. Cody Eakin, who they signed on a 2-year contract. He has 2 years left on his deal. I think that's an interesting depth signing down the middle for the Sabres, and I think it's a need that they absolutely need to address, especially because on the right side you've got Dylan Cozens, who is becoming a rookie for the Buffalo Sabres next season. I think he's good enough to slot into that lineup. He's been playing with the Lethbridge Hurricanes of the WHL. I think he's ready to come to the NHL. He's got the NHL size. It's just a question of skill and speed. Does he have that? Does he have those intangibles at the NHL level? We're going to find out next season. Now, we move on to the top 6, where you've got Jeff Skinner, Eric Stahl, and Sam Reinhart on that second line. And Sam Reinhart still he's a restricted free agent, but we're just planning on him signing with the Buffalo Sabres. Eric Stahl, who I think was that was an underrated move that they did with the Minnesota Wild. I think this is a great pickup for the Sabres. They pick up a solid center in Stahl. Yes, he's not who he used to be, but that leadership, his skill at this point, and his cap hit, that's something that the Buffalo Sabres desperately needed. And not that Sam Reinhart can't play down the middle, but I think he's better suited on the wing. You've got Stahl, who is a very solid center. And now you look at that middle 6 center group, you've got Cozens, Reinhart, Eakin, as well as Eric Stahl. They can all play center. So, goodness, one goes down with injury or something like that, you can throw the other guy in, and it doesn't really hurt you all that much. And then Jeff Skinner, who had a god-awful first season in that contract with the Buffalo Sabres. So he's going to be wanting to improve on his numbers next year, making $7 million per season for the next 5 years. He's going to want to increase his numbers. And then we look at the first line, where you've got Taylor Hall, Jack Eichel, and Victor Olofsson. Victor Olofsson was a candidate for the Rookie of the Year last year, up until he got injured, of course. But that's a guy to keep an eye on, because the Swedish forward looks pretty solid and could be a great addition for the Buffalo Sabres moving forward. On the other wing, you've got the newly acquired Taylor Hall, who I think is a great add for the Buffalo Sabres. I think he's another name that we have to keep an eye on this season, because he's going to prove himself. He's in a prove-it-year contract once again, where he's going to look to prove that he's worth the money that he should be getting, and maybe he can extend, like I said, if things work out with Buffalo, he'll extend, and he'll stay with the Buffalo Sabres, and if he doesn't have that chemistry with Eichel and Olofsson, well, then you move on next year, and you try it again, right? And then, obviously, you have Jack Eichel, who is the franchise player of this team. We've heard rumors that he might get traded and stuff like that. I think that's all been put to rest recently, now that they've acquired Taylor Hall. Buffalo Sabres are trying to win, and then now that they have a situation where Taylor Hall picked them, because we know Taylor Hall had other offers from different organizations, and I think Ralph Kruger being in the mix definitely helped that, but Jack Eichel being there was the selling point at the end of the day. So let me know in the comment section down below, Sabres fans, what do you think of the Sabres offseason so far? It hasn't been anything crazy, any big blockbuster moves. I mean, Taylor Hall is a big move, but I think those signings of guys like Cody Eakin, Stahl, I think those are going to be big difference makers down the road for the Buffalo Sabres in terms of their depth, as well as Dylan Cozens. I think there's a lot of hype around him, so we'll see how good he is with the Buffalo Sabres next season. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think the Buffalo Sabres get back into the Stanley Cup playoffs next year? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and let's go Sabres.